You know those mornings you look outside and everything is different? Nothing is like it was? Do you believe in fate? I do. At least I think I do. It's hard to believe that it's been a year since I last saw you. We miss so much trying so hard to hold on to the things that we once had. But you know, not even the stars stay in sight forever.
console division. We've hit the losers finals, CB. I'm Tiny Shiny with a lovely duo CB here today to continue this amazing storyline that we've been able to follow through the top tiers of console gameplay.
Yeah, and top tiers is putting it lightly. You know, we got MME going up against Blue Team, and Blue Team is one of those squads that we constantly see playing up against the PC teams, going crazy against them, putting up big numbers, and even taking dubs against like contenders level talent. But they're down here because of MME in round 2. MME, on the other hand, went up against Red Team in a 6-map slobber knocker in the last round. So this match here has a ton of implications. As the winner is going to go on to face Red Team. We might get a rematch of that MME Red Team matchup. We might get Red Team versus Blue Team in that match. But in order for that to happen, you know, Blue Team, they have to take down their big rivals, the ones that sent them down here in the first place.
And, you know, we get to look at that bracket too, and it was such a crazy matchup for Blue Team to even get down to the losers bracket. The history between these two squads right now, I mean, oh, it is absolutely crazy. I mean, you look at this right now, MME Dive took out Blue Team in the losers finals, the round 2 here, 3-0, CB, 3-0. This is a team that has won like the past straight 6 seasons of CGL Overwatch at this level, all right? This is not a team that is familiar with losing whatsoever. MME Dive, they're in quite a similar boat, and you know, a big chunk of the reason that both of these teams are so successful is because of those players within those rosters. So let's go ahead, see who will be starting out today. Within this lengthy list of players, looking over at Blue Team first. You know them, you love them. I mean, these 5 players, Vinny, Zero, Top Tier Kid, Harvey, and SJP, of course, have been mainstays within the console Overwatch scene, and I expect nothing less than greatness.
Yeah, one thing I do kind of want to point out is, you know, last time I casted Blue Team, there was a different Tracer player. We had Smash in there, and I was really impressed by Smash in particular. Often thought, you know, that was one of their best players, but you know, we have Zero stepping into the lineup as instead of him today. And, you know, Top Tier Kid, they also did some weird stuff with Top Tier Kid where they kind of flexed him over to, like, the Zenyatta from time to time. So we might be seeing some, like, some rotations around the roles here a little bit. But this squad is still a very formidable squad. This is still one that, again, is capable of taking on some of that Contenders tier talent, even in the PC scene. Do not sleep on console Overwatch because there are some heavy hitters lurking in the wings here, and this is one of the heaviest.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. You said this is one of the heaviest. Let's go ahead and introduce probably the second heaviest here that we have. It's usually these top 3 teams that have been competing back and forth, but MME, they've been in this scene for quite some time themselves. Bonnie, I've casted for the past almost 2 years, I want to say. I've seen this tank player through the highs, through the lows, just a stellar starter for any team that they've been on the roster. The rest of them have been pretty new, rotated in and out just over time, and MME Dive, despite all the changes that have come to place over the past couple of seasons, they still managed to maintain themselves in this top 3 scenario here. There's a lot on the line today, CB, a whole lot on the line going into this match, including a chance at winning $3,000 and a guaranteed, I believe, 500 heading into the prize pool here.
Yeah, a prize pool that Red Team snatched right up from out from underneath MME's noses last time. A big part of the reason that MME has been this successful, gotten this far, and, you know, made Red Team have to sweat so much for it was because of Captain Jack on that Tracer with some phenomenal plays. You know, the entire team had some insane plays and some great moments, but Captain Jack seemed to be the hero time and time again, which is kind of why, you know, when we went back to Blue Team's lineup, I was like, where is Smash? Because I wanted to see that Tracer 1v1 between these 2 players, but, you know, I have to hope that Zero is going to be, you know, able to fill those shoes and able to step up in that Tracer 1v1 if that's the lineup that they're going to go with, if that's the hero comp that they want to play. And if not, you know, then option B, you have to kind of hope that Zero has good counterplay, can actually, you know, play a hero that can take that duel or opt not to take that duel and just find more value.
And that is probably the biggest question that we're looking to have answered heading into our map number 1. It was the pick of MME. We have selected the beautiful Lijiang Tower, everybody's favorite control map. There's not even a debate going on out here. This is where MME would like to start us off.
I don't know if you want to debate, but I've heard a lot of people really, really like Oasis, and you can hear the sarcasm in my voice when I say that. There was that that tweet that like Leg Day put out a little bit ago where, you know, he was talking about how, like, he really liked Midtown, and it's the best map that's come out since Oasis. And then in the comments, everyone was just like, I hate Oasis. It's the worst map. It's terrible. It's awful. And everyone was so shocked to see that. But, you know, something I'm not shocked to see is that we're starting out on Gardens, and both teams are going for something of a dive mirror, a little bit of Winton on Winton action. We got Top Tier Kid over here on the Echo, though. That's a little bit of a curveball, and that might be exactly what blue team needs to get ahead here.
I mean, hey, I'm here for it. Top tier kid certainly is a top tier Echo, if I gotta say. But they do lose the race towards that center of the town. They'll have to play on the side of the bridge. Wait for Vinny to go ahead, leap in, add the pressure on to Leo in the back line. They're gonna be forced back, but MME are still capturing the point. Blue team, they didn't have speed to match it, so they're not going to have an option to get this first capture. They're still hanging around in this bridge area, healing up Vinny, waiting for him to leap in, but the follow-up, we need to see this coordination start to come through between the Winston and the Tracer to actually collapse on these players of MME who've managed to assert themselves well on the objective. Progress has been made forwards, but the split has come through. Counter dive from Bonnie. Nobody has gone down yet in this map. As I say that, finally Vinny will end up falling, and that's exactly what MME need to do to solidify their presence.
Yeah, blue team, I think the strategy for them was to try and play slow and build up that nano boost, which is the reason that you're playing the Ana over the Kiriko, but that kind of backfires because they lose the point early. They don't play it, you know, they play it just a little bit too slow, and now even if they are able to build up that nano, they're going to be going into that Kitsune Rush and that Primal Rage. MME got a lot of work done, so it's time for blue team to step up and put on their hard hats and go to work as well.
Yeah, blue team, they're going to come into this with the nano boost, which is going to be great for them to get that onto Vinny, ideally, and have that as an engage tool. But walking into Kitsune Rush ain't too good for Vinny. Just going to go like pop like a little balloon. And yeah, the main take has had a hard time going through on this objective. I mean, Garden's notoriously difficult to attack, especially when you're getting held so darn close. And I do think a lot of it has to do with the difference in support comps here, CB.
It absolutely does, and also the fact that, again, Mighty had that Kitsune Rush, and Vinny just jumped right into it, and of course got blown up. The flip side of that, though, is because that Kitsune Rush got expended, now blue team has a full house of ultimates. They can go in with that Nano Monkey, and they've already, they already lost 0 on the Ingress there, but they can still get some value out of this.
I mean, the counterplay is just there from MME. I mean, you're not diving in with 0, and the sound barrier from Evergreen keeps everyone alive. Vinny has to go with the Primal Rage here to get something done, and hope Top Tier Kid can follow up, because SJP not being there on the support, the DPS need to come up huge. MME, they're close to turning this one around, but with the double monkey swinging away, yeah, that's going to go ahead and be blue team taking this objective, or at least being on it for the very first time in the points. MME dive, still managed to hold on to a couple ultimates. Actually ended up using the pulse bomb there, CB. I'm kind of surprised with this fight. I guess they thought it would still be winnable, but yeah, blue team, they're just too well established here to really be turned around despite all the stagger coming in.
I mean, Pulse Bomb's kind of a throwaway ultimate anyway, because, you know, with all the damage that Captain Jack is capable of doing on that hero, you know he'll have another Pulse Bomb ready to go in the blink of an eye. And even if that wasn't the case, they got it up to 99. They have all the time in the world to build up to another full stack of ultimates. Meanwhile, blue team, in order to get control, had to expend quite literally everything, and they are coming up on nothing. So they have to hold this entirely in the neutral, while Leo has that overclock ready to go.
And we know how much of a threat that can be, especially for that player, but the health bars, they're not there. MME died, they got split up. Vinny leaped straight into the backline. Both supports gone. Regardless of what happens on the objective, any damage taken will be permanent for the team in red. Yeah, they're going to be forced to go ahead back on off here, and this is a big fight win for blue team.
100%, and we talked about how MME had the ult advantage with that overclock, but yeah, Leo not given a chance to use it. There is just no opportunity because they got to split, and blue team pincered right on top of those heroes that were a little bit out of position here. And now they have a Kitsune Rush, they have a Pulse Bomb, they're starting to come up on ultimates they can use to cycle out and build up this capture percentage.
And there's going to be both the Kitsune Rush and the Pulse Bomb. Oh my goodness, 0 almost exploded themselves right there. We'll be all right to live another day. The battle for the point will ensue. Another Pulse Bomb chucked in. Only gets the Immortality field, which is enough to continue the pressure onto Harvey. Look at that peel forced to come in from SJP. The support resources now getting split up. Leo has held on to this overclock for so long, CB, so darn long, and it's gotten enough time for blue team to continue this out. Yeah, there's going to be the overclock, but not before you've lost a key player that's cleaning these fights up. Blue team is so close to turning this around, but Leo's Sojourn is just too good to be countered out. MME, they're back on the point, back on the objective, and blue team, all you're looking at right now is a duplicate to get blown back into the point. But look how low top tier kid just it needs to get in there. Look at somebody, get it off, but no, Leah takes them out before it's an opportunity. MME dive, coming out of the gate strong here, solidify themselves, and this is a great usage of this ultimate economy to put them on top here in Gardens.
That ultimate not going off that duplicate was the difference between MME capping that out or having to go through a long stagger fight to try and bring it back there. Because, if top tier kid had managed to get a copy onto a Winston, suddenly you might have had 2 angry monkeys on the point that you have to chunk through just to be able to finally close that out. And that would buy enough time for the supports for blue team to get on the point, keep everybody healed up, make it even more difficult to chunk through all that HP. But because top tier kid can't get that ult off in time, went in with half HP, came out with 0, they just solidify the whole fight right there. Easy does it. Both teams now, as we move over onto Night Market, sticking with similar comps though, but I want to go ahead and point out blue team's support line here. I don't know if they're going to stick with this, but a BAP and a Kiriko, they want all the healing and all the resources for their monkey.
It's interesting because blue team, they pulled that out at the end of Gardens there. And it did help them significantly. They won the long fights that were happening. But if MME were able to get on top of them quick, that's when they started to fail. So blue team, they're actually opening this up early with some nice sticky bombs follow up from 0 2 eliminations going their way. Blue team were actually able to get to the objective first this time. MME dive took way too much burst damage on the way in.
Yeah, specifically Mighty, that's where all the healing is coming from, is that Kiriko. You lose that, no one else is going to be able to sustain, so that's a great heads-up play to identify that Kiriko was either out of position or low HP on the rotation. I didn't quite get to see which it was, but regardless, only 16% ult charge. You didn't give this poor girl a chance to do nearly anything, and top tier kid wants to keep it that way, doesn't want to let MME have an inch because they will take a mile.
IQ Mighty here, that's the dive target, right? That's where all of that support's going to come from. If you force out that Kiriko, divide those resources up, MME, they don't got a lot to work with, and they move forwards. It's a very split approach taken from the team in red, just to try to get to that objective, and I do question how well is that working out for them. It does force blue team out on the outside of the original temple that the objective is taking place. MME dive are close to getting the flip back over, and with the elimination onto Harvey, they might just as well do it. Captain Jack has outran 0 into the race to the pulse bomb as well. Yeah, this is blue team struggling to come back up big, countering out Captain Jack, the impact they're able to have.
That top tier kid able to get out alive, but that's not going to be the same to be said for SJP. That's going to be a very late stagger for blue team right there, and that's going to help MME sort of make up that difference, get them at least halfway to that nearly 50% mark there that blue team put up here. They're going to be coming back in with dueling pulse bombs. Vinny is a little bit ahead in the primal rage charge, and Evergreen has a sound barrier. We got to go back to blue team support comp. They don't have a defensive ultimate like that online, so they have to be quick, they have to be swift, and they have to use that sustainability to close these fights out quickly.
Yeah, this has got to be MME dive. Speed is the name of the game here. And also Leo, this Sojourn has been hitting these shots perfectly, but they just need to do it quickly. If they can, then that's going to be the cleanup. MME dive with a later sound barrier. That'll put some sound back into this fight, and that's exactly what you needed to do. Give Leo the opportunity to pop the overclock. MME dive, they are set to go. Got that flip, and we're near even percentage.
And it goes back to the team comp. Mr. DJ, turn that music right back up. That sound barrier is the difference maker. But MME, they made it pretty costly. They're only going to have a Kitsune Rush going into this next fight, which, blue team, they got one of those in their back pocket as well. Plus, you got top tier kid coming up on a duplicate. So with the ult advantage, blue team can definitely swing this fight. They just have to be careful not to lose anybody on the Ingress and make sure that they get the better of this Kitsune Rush exchange.
Yeah, both exactly at the same time, but MME's dive is only trying to get in onto the objective of blue team. Already established, Bonnie has 0 hope of pushing forward, especially with Vinny swapping over to that Diva. It's just going to shred through a Winston any time of the day. Blue team made the appropriate swaps, and here they are, back in control.
Yeah, and again, it comes down to just having more ultimates. MME, they didn't need to expend all 4 of their ultimates in the previous fight, but now in this last one, just now, they had the Kitsune Rush, but you can't go up against a Kitsune Rush on the other side as well as a duplicate, and because of that, also, look at the ult economy for blue team. They're coming up on a lot more as well, but top tier kid gonna be coming up on a nice life insurance payout, courtesy of Leo there.
You're gonna go ahead and get that, but with 0 winning that Tracer 1v1 and getting a stick on the pulse bomb. Nice Suzu. to negate that dive. MME still struggling to poke their heads into the objective. Vinny has had these little choke points locked down with the D.Va, even has the self-destruct as extra insurance if they do end up getting demacked, but that's not going to be the case. We're getting down to final fight.
I think that was meant to be an eco push for MME, but it ended up kind of scattered and staggered a little bit, so it is going to be a final fight situation where they're going to have the ults that they worked for to try and, close this one out, flip it back in their favor here, but so is blue team. They've got the self-destruct. They're gonna have a Kitsune rush if this fight goes long, and they've already lost their Lucio. Evergreen has fallen.
Yeah, but Evergreen still manages to get the boop on the way out. That is a huge elimination. Self-destruct, denying the space, but Bonnie easily able to engage with Leo. You're sitting so close to this overclock. If this is one MME drive, can drag out just a little bit longer, allow their Sojourn player to hit these shots. That could be the difference maker right here. Blue team, they're struggling to regroup on the outside of the map with the early loss of their player, but there it is. That overclock is going to be the end of blue team on the points. They'll have a small chance to come back in.
Yeah, and they didn't build up that Kitsune rush, so they will have it this next fight, and they do have time to come back in. They're also going to have a pulse bomb, but not much else. They're going to have to try and chunk through a lot of HP on MME because they've got the two best stall ultimates in the game and the Kitsune rush that's going to be a ton of healing. Blue team, they're going to swap over to a Wrecking Ball so they can make sure that they get this touch off.
You have Vinny coming in here and SJP assisting with the Kitsune rush, but MME Dive simply have too many ultimates online to be reckoned with. They're getting knocked out of park. Blue team is nowhere near the objective. Bonnie denying them left, right, and center. MME Dive gonna go ahead and take the map of Lijiang Tower. A great start for them, taking down Titans such as blue team.
Yeah, MME's dive is actually looking pretty clean. That namesake, they're looking pretty good here with this composition. It gets a little staggered, a little bit split up from time to time, and those are the times that blue team can pounce on them and make it, take things in their own favor. But for the most part, it's been just MME looking really, really strong on this comp. I also kind of feel like they had the advantages the entire time because they were running the Lucio instead of that, that weird BAP Kiriko where, you have the Suzu, you have the immortality, so you have a lot of sustainability and you will have a lot of healing, but, you don't have that big fight-winning ultimate. That big, sound barrier is. It's legitimately one of the strongest ultimates in the game. It's up there with, Transcendence as far as being able to win a fight out. And having that much HP to chunk through and not having, a Zenyatta to try and chunk through it all, or, a sound barrier of your own to keep everybody alive long enough to deal with the overhealth that slowly decays. I think it kind of goes back to that, coupled with just a few key mistakes here and there. Blue team, they're going to go ahead and drop the first map, but it's going to be their map pick. If I was a gambling girl, I'd probably say it's King's Row, but who am I to judge? Who am I to say? Who's to say? It's anyone's guess, really.
It could be anyone's guess, and we'll have to find out. Maybe you should go buy a lottery ticket after this. But we'll have to go ahead and we'll wait and see where blue team end up going. And I do want to revisit that point you made, just about specifically you mentioned the sound barrier, but I think the ultimate economy in general, MME Dive, they had the superior management of that, and that helps them a lot moving in. The duplicate simply didn't get as much value as that overclock did. Leo is a stellar Sojourn player, and as shown time and time again that this is the carry. This is the carry. Whenever they are on that hero, Leo will come out and just make a game-changing difference. So with all of that in mind, MME Dive, they had some clear set win conditions that were able to shut blue team down at points that they were confident that they could come out on top of these fights. So moving into this hybrid map selection with blue team now in the driver's seat here, where do they want to go where they can feel A, more comfortable, and B, like they'll actually have a grip of what happened on the game, because there it felt like MME, they were controlling the pace.
They were for the most part. You did bring up ult economy, by the way, and there was a couple times where, like that one fight where MME kind of overcommitted here, and as long as they don't continue to do that and make that mistake, or at least, if they're gonna make that mistake, make it in situations like we saw in Lijiang where they have plenty of time to make it all up and bring back up to all those ultimates. It's totally okay if you're gonna, if you have that sort of time on your hands, but that's kind of one of those things when you get that early advantage in control. You don't always have that going your way on a hybrid map. I still kind of think, they're gonna pick King's Row because it's, it's loser's map pick. It's King's Row. Come on. And I think that is where you do decide to go. But I also want to go ahead and highlight that last time we saw MME playing, we saw them come out with a lot of rush with that kind of Tracer on their side as well. The Tracer Sojourn or, Tracer, I believe I forget what else Leo was playing, if it was that Sojourn the entire time. It might have been the Cassidy as well, but, that might also kind of deter you from wanting to go over to Kings Row, because again, that's like Rush Central. That's the Mecca. And in fact, it sounds like we're getting a little bit of a curveball. I'm seeing stars. We're going to Hollywood, it sounds like.
Yes! Thank you, Blue Team. Thank you so much for giving us a break on Kings Row. We get to see Hollywood again, and with this new like Twilight theme mode that we've got going on here with the purple, that is like the best color scheme in the game. There's no arguing that point in my mind. So, heading over to Hollywood here, this is something that Blue Team, they're more well known for kind of these dives, these fast-paced compositions, where they're able to feel like they're the ones in control of that pace and control of the tempo, whereas MME, Rush, that's kind of their thing. They're almost called a one-trick Rush team for a long time. And I do want to point out that Lijiang Tower, it was still pretty close for the maps that we saw. And if we're going to continue to see either a mirror or some switch-ups, because Hollywood can allow for that, this is going to be the place to kind of pull that out.
100%. It does also look, though, that, like we saw on Lijiang here, that MME might have been working on their dive comp, so they might be feeling a little bit more confident in a map pick like Hollywood than they typically would have. Like, they would probably be, like, in the past, be, like, clutching their pearls, hoping for that Kings Row pick because they would get to play that Rush. But, we might be seeing a change of pace here for MME. We might be seeing them leaning into that namesake, going more for that dive and getting more value out of it, because they were able to get the better of Blue Team on the dive comps on Lijiang. But, again, that kind of goes back to a compositional thing where, like, the backline for Blue Team was kind of awkward. The ult economy wasn't quite there. They weren't getting full value out of their picks here. And if that's the same thing that we see on Hollywood, we might see another close one, but it might still just be MME running away with it. So I want to see some change-ups from both teams, honestly. I want to see MME continue to stick on with this dive composition that, is a change of pace for what they're known for. And I want to see Blue Team kind of iron out the kinks and not quite go for, what they thought would work on Lijiang Tower, and instead go for something a little bit more traditional, something that they can play.
Yeah, and MME Dive, they're the ones arguing, you could say, that they're on the back foot here. But I don't think at all with how they played last map. This is still something they're going to find some comfort in. Not changing anything up from Lijiang. Perfect. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Blue Team, on the other hand, we wanted them to make those changes. We're already seeing those come into place. And I'm kind of getting the vibes here of Bonnie is not allowed to play the game.
Yeah, 100%. You got that Reaper pick that's already... one of those things that it's like, hey, I don't want to deal with this confounded Winston. Just blow him up. We'll see if this sticks, though, because, again, it's attacking team spawns. But this would be a pretty solid choice here. But, again, I'm looking at this backline, and we're still sticking onto the Kiriko BAP. They want to go for full immortality, full immunity, and try and get as much, as much healing as possible. But, again, they're going to be lacking that big fight-winning ultimate that a sound barrier can be, and Evergreen has been key for MME in some of these fights.
Yeah, Evergreen is the initiator, the disengage, and oftentimes a fight winner here. There's so much power that Lucio can bring to the table in compositions such as these, and I don't know if Blue Team, they feel comfortable matching that one out, so they just have to go with, what players do we have? We're going to go ahead play to our strengths, so that's going to be Vinny and the Diva. You put the Reaper out there with this extra healing that the Baptiste is going to offer. All right, you go ahead and do that, because Zero is starting to win these Tracer 1v1s. Captain Jack is getting shut down in ways that we have not seen in the past. Blue Team with an early opening here, and they're going to go ahead collapse on the back line. There's a counter dive attempt from MME Dive, but they have managed to get two off the back of it.
What are you doing?
Moving so far back. Evergreen, okay, new dive here. This is a scrappy one. MME just completely took Blue Team by surprise, and now they're down to only 2 players to try to push this one in. They're still going to try to do so, just to try to keep that space in control, but with Vinny losing the mech, it's likely safer to regroup.
Yeah, it was, they did a great job taking that pick off onto Evergreen and catching a couple other people out of position, but because they're chasing all of these other players that are out of position, they themselves end up split, and MME, they're able to just pounce on that once they go back and get themselves back to full strength. It's too staggered, too scatter shot for Blue Team to be able to fully commit and get any sort of capture percentage. But if that pattern continues and they clean that up just a little bit, maybe don't lose Harvey quite as early, they might actually be able to, brute force this one in with this comp. And it looks like they're going to go for round 2, but they've already wasted nearly 2 minutes.
these fights, they're not happening very quickly, so you don't have as many opportunities to go with, especially with Captain Jack sitting, waiting, lurking, the Blake barely there. Zero's gonna be able to stay alive with the recall forced out. Captain Jack isn't gonna be a threat, but neither is Top Tier Kid. Leo is yet to be thrown off of this high ground and continue to be a dominant force on this hit scan, and we haven't even seen too much as of late. MME Dive have shut down Blue Team once again by countering their backline. Blue Team, they think they can go in. Suddenly, there's a Winston in the back. They turn around. They don't know what to do.
I'm glad, by the way, that Top Tier Kid is swapping off of the Reaper and moving over to the Echo now, because having that Reaper feels more reactive than it is proactive. You're trying to wait for Bonnie to make that jump in and blow the Winston up rather than trying to get into a position where, as MME, they can be proactive like they are with that Pulse Bomb as Captain Jack just blows up everybody. Gonna find the one clips, closes out Top Tier Kid. I think that's a 3K, maybe a 4K.
Yeah.
That Immortality Field in the kill feed kind of throws it off for me, but yeah, Zero not going to find nearly as much value with his Pulse Bomb as Captain Jack just took that fight and ran with it.
Ugh, yeah, this is Captain Jack has had enough of Zero. We haven't seen too many times where that Captain Jack's has struggled on the Tracer. Zero's been an opponent, but if you just straight up ignore Zero, take him out of the equation, there you go. MME, they're finding major success here on the defense with only 60 seconds remaining for Blue Team to even get in. They got nothing. They made so many swaps. SJP, yeah, you went over to the Ana Brig, but that's even more diveable. Bonnie and Leo easily taking them out. Opportunity has been wasted by the Blue Team once again. They're losing all of the ultimate charge, all of those win conditions they thought they had, and look what MME have for one more fight.
Yeah, Blue Team's ult economy is just they don't have one. They're going to stagger Vinny out. No remech are going to be available. It's going to have to try and, pepper in those Baby Diva shots to find anything to get that mech back. But MME, again, they have the Primal Rage. We have Captain Jack on that Pulse Bomb. That's going to be another lethal one. Leo going to pop the overclock and already start clicking head. That's 2 down right off the rip.
Oh, my goodness. Even the duplicate immediately taken down. Blue Team have no shot of getting past the MME on Hollywood here. Might have been their map pick, but Hollywood is MME town.
Yeah, absolutely. Blue Team, I don't, it feels to me like they're trying to reinvent the wheel here a little bit. Like, they're playing dive comps, but they're also trying to play a dive comp that also counters MME's dive comp, which means they're not really fully committing to a dive or a counter dive. And by the time they make that Echo swap that Top Tier Kid comes out with, it's too little too late. And we were even kind of questioning the efficacy of the Echo on Lijiang Tower, so that might not even have been like the most optimal swap. Like, maybe you did want to go with something that can more, be more supplementary towards the dive. Maybe you do want to switch to something, like a Genji or like a, stay on the Echo, but go in with your dive heroes, go in all together, collapse on a target. We're not really seeing that. Like, either Captain Jack is just drawing far too much attention, or they're far too focused on trying to just blow up Bonnie that they're not able to commit to any one particular mission and execute it.
Yeah, that's what I was pointing out earlier, too, is that Blue Team, they seemed like they wanted to dive, right? They wanted to go in, get Leo out of the equation. But as soon as Vinny would go ahead and commit, suddenly Bonnie, Captain Jack, and even Evergreen were in their backline taking everybody else out. So then Vinny would try to book it back the other way, get demeched in the process. The communication hasn't been there for Blue Team today. This is something I'm not used to seeing from them personally, of all the times I've had them on broadcast. MME Dive are beating them in their own game just by communicating as the 5 players that they are. Blue Team setting up on the defense here, CB. We've got an Ashe on the field now. Top Tier Kid will be taking up the Tracer. But with the Brigitte Zen backline, I do question, how are they going to be able to withstand Bonnie and Captain Jack combined under one force?
It's going to be difficult, and you're going to be looking at Vinny to potentially get blown up here. The early dive is going to come out onto the backline. They've already lost SJP, and Vinny, there's just no healing to help keep that Winston alive in the fight, so everyone else is just going to melt, and that should be MME just quickly and easily taking it. No ults needed, just one Winston jump, and it's all over.
Wow, nobody makes Blue Team fall over that quickly. Absolutely nobody. MME, they're doing something. They're putting Blue Team down 2-0 in this game where they've been champions for season after season. This is not the best look that we've seen from them, and it's because MME, they're beating them at their own game. They've lost in their own back pick, and it was not close whatsoever. That's the cold hard truth right there. It is the people from EU that have been in control despite all of the ping that they're playing on in this match, CB. They want this rematch against Red Team so darn bad.
And if blue team keeps playing like this, MME is gonna get it, because blue team, I'm not questioning the skill of any of their players whatsoever. We know this isn't a skill issue. Again, they're trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm not sure, like, they switched to a Zen Brig backline. Like, what are their supports doing? Like, what is going on here with these hero picks? And, you know, Zen Brig is a very, you know, solid backline if your tank is like a Wrecking Ball who can roll around and find the health packs easily and play around those. Because then you don't need that, like, high level of burst healing that, like, an Ana or a BAP or a Kiriko would provide. But, you know, you can just, sustain entirely on those, like, you know, Briggs cookies and the Harmony Orb and use the Discord Orb to find targets. But, you know, if you're not playing that composition and you're just going to leave your backline up there to get just pounced on by the enemy dive, then, like, what are you doing? What is the overall goal? What's the win condition of this comp? I can't find it, and I don't think blue team really knows either. It again feels like they're trying to find something to counter the Winston, but you can't just focus on countering the Winston. You have to counter the whole comp. You have to shut down Captain Jack. You can't keep letting Leo get angles. If you're going to shut down the Winston, you have to also actually do it, and they're not able to shut Bonnie down.
It has been too good for this game, and it's thrown blue team off their rhythm. They're playing these compositions that they are not used to. It's kind of crazy to see this happen to blue team. I mean, myself, I'm still a little shocked that MME Dive are able to put them down this dominantly. It's pretty crazy in my own mind, but I do believe that we are going to go ahead and take a quick break in between our two maps here to allow blue team some time to reset, get prepared for map number 3, because MME, they're on match point. And welcome back to the open tier console finals. Tiny Shiny and CB are ready to head into map number 3, and I know very well that blue team and their opponents, MME, are ready to do so as well. This has not been the series that we were expecting at all today.
It's been a pretty dark one if you're a fan of blue team, and I feel like this might actually be indicative of a changing landscape as far as console Overwatch goes. We were talking a little bit with our producer Headrammer going forward here, while in that little break here, and he was telling us that, traditionally blue team has been a team that has just simply outskilled all of their opponents because they just had all of the best players in console Overwatch on their team. So it didn't matter what the meta was. It didn't matter what you were playing. They would just come at you and outskill you, just completely overpower you. But we're in a place now where we have teams like MME that you just can't simply do that against, where they can play a more meta composition, show you why it's meta, make it work, and just pick you apart piece by piece. And if you're not coordinating, if you're not all on the same page, playing for that one win condition, then you're just lost. And that looks to be what we're seeing from blue team right now. And they have to, get themselves a compass and find themselves, bring back that blue team that can just overpower their enemy teams, bully the other teams into submission. It looks like for our third map, their map pick, we're going to Junkertown, so that's going to have to be where the compass takes them for now.
And they've elected to go to Junkertown, which is quite a fascinating selection. It shows that they want to avoid this dive, if at all possible here. I think that blue team, that they're struggling to get the pieces together. This is the first time that they have really been oppressed this much in a game of Overwatch that they've remained dominant in for so long, and that's going to cause them to make a couple of composition swaps here. We're seeing Ukyo come in for the support. We haven't seen her in quite some time, really only coming in to play this Mercy. It's going to transition SJP over to the DPS role, where they were really well known for being a pro in Paladins and then coming over here dominating on DPS. So SJP returning to their original role off the support and having Ukyo in. Perhaps these are the swaps that blue team needed to have, and actually this is the swaps they need to have to work out, because right now they are on risk of going down 3-0 here against an MME dive team who's remained unmatched.
Yeah, and look at MME right now. Look at the composition they're showing up here with. This is textbook Junkertown. You have the Sigma, you have the BAP Zen, you have a long-range hit scan in Leo, and you still get to keep Captain Jack, that all-star player, on that Tracer to constantly be a threat, harassing backliners and making it, difficult for anybody to get anything done. Leo is going to be on the lookout for Top Tier Kid at every possible angle, and Top Tier Kid is going to have to keep his head down. As is Captain Jack, apparently they found him.
Oh, they already found him out. That is a great start for blue team here on this Tracer. Top Tier Kid's going to remain on that Echo throughout this map, and it's even more dangerous to do so with Leo watching on the Widowmaker. Rather, going to be remaining uncontested just with how far back they'll be able to play for this time. The blue team are going to go ahead, continue to push this payload. Got around the first corner. It's a great start seeing Vinny on the Sigma as well. MME, they're remaining cooped up kind of in this house, and it's forced them to give up a lot of this space. But this is actually where they wanted to play CB, because now Leo has access to these sight lines to kind of start poking out, being the threat that a one-shot sniper truly can be.
Yeah, and there's not really anyone that can challenge him way back there, because Top Tier Kid has to go through a ton of just open airspace to try and get that close. And meanwhile, you've got Vinny locked in this duel with Bonnie on the Sigmas on the point here. Kind of a stalemate right there, so it's up to, SJP to try and get back there and harass, but he's going to be locked in this duel with Captain Jack here, so nobody can really get all the way back there. Leo just has a shooting gallery for essentially until someone decides to take it away from him.
And ideally, you'd want to get SJP back there, right? To go ahead and contest that player. And that's exactly what SJP is going to do. Coming up with 2 on the balls. That is the opening blue team needed. And Sir James Parker is going to be the one to deliver that one first class.
Yeah, and that's just, again, that's a little bit of a positioning thing if they're able to capture the point here off of just that one quick fight win. Because they went all the way back there, they gave blue team so much space. Just, a couple quick picks and they're there. They're already on to point B. That's one of the hardest parts of Junkertown, especially for their comp. Done and dusted. Leo is going to swap over off the Widowmaker onto the Ashe. We'll see if, switching that from the long to the mid-range hit scan helps them deal with Top Tier Kid a little bit more efficiently. But they're going to have the duplicate to try and make this a little bit more difficult.
The duplicate's there more as a lifeline for Top Tier Kid, and it could even be an larger win condition here. I'm just assuming this comes through. I think this Mercy pocket that Ukyo's been able to put out has helped significantly in the impact that this Echo is able to have. just because you're less afraid of dying. You can chase down targets. There goes Captain Jack. The damage output was not expected. The main player is gone. SJP will also be disposed of, but top tier kid is still causing havoc in the backline. Blue team, this is a much better look from them.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good. They're going to go ahead and get the res off onto SJP, so that Tracer is still going to be there to put forth some more cart pressure. Scratch that. Evergreen decided, no more cart pressure.
No.
Back to spawn with you. And just like that, the pressure is completely gone. MME can regain their control over this entire point just by holding off the high ground and not allowing blue team to have access to it. Plus, we got Captain Jack waiting in the wings here with the pulse bomb. We'll see who this ends up going on.
He's sneaking, knows that SJP's kind of sitting around in that corner. They're like looking at each other without actually knowing the other. Oh, there we go. Now they're blinking and now they're battling it out. Still, we're going to go ahead and let the Tracers do their own thing. Tearing our sights to this main engagement over the high ground where there's actually 2 Sigmas on the field. I'd be a little scared with both of those gravitic fluxes online in just a moment here. While these Tracers, they're battling it out. 2 separate fights going on, and the answer is... Yeah, the winner will be the Ash player. Leo coming up big for their team. Transcendence has been forced out of MME. Blue team, they've gotten a lot of progress on this payload just in the neutral here. Even if it doesn't appear they're going to win the actual fight in the end, they already made it worthwhile.
Yeah, once Yukio goes down there, that's the end of the fight there. They did take down Captain Jack, but did enough damage before he was able to fall here. Blue team, and they expended a lot of their ultimates just trying to get that one going there, and they aren't able to come up with a whole lot. Meanwhile, MME, they're coming up on the Bob, they're coming up on the Gravitic Flux. It's going to be a very difficult 1-2 punch for blue team to try and burn through. They're going to have to rely on these pickoffs, these sticky bombs like top tier kid. A damage boosted sticky bomb onto Evergreen and a little bit of cart pressure might be enough to get them the dub.
And there you go. That's going to force MME to start rotating down to that point. With Vinny now on the Wrecking Ball able to contest this, it makes Bonnie's job much more difficult here on this Sigma. You're still looking for that target to be the Flux. Poor Harvey stuck, all lost and alone, but it doesn't matter. The tank left the rest of their team completely vulnerable to the dive Blue team have been able to establish, and they are on track to go ahead, snag this first point with a nice, healthy time bank to go ahead and move forward. And look at this. This is MME. They're getting forced back to their old ways.
Bonnie, what the heck was that? What was that Gravitic Flux going all the way in for Harvey, who you know had that immortality field, and then putting yourself so far out of position that everyone else from blue team can just collapse right on top of you? Clearly not the play, and Bonnie, I think, knows that because he's going to swap over onto the Winston, so MME is going full-on dive here, whereas blue team, they're running something of a dive themselves. Vinny is over here on the Wrecking Ball, and we know he can be a force of nature on this hero. We'll see if MME has what it takes to stop the momentum that blue team has accrued here.
It'll be a trade with the pulse bombs each, but Vinny has more health, has the superior mobility, and blue team, they're going to continue to roll through. Captain Jack isn't done with their job, though, being uncontested after SJP has fallen, continuing to find these last-minute cleanup eliminations, but MME, they're unwilling to come in and contest here. They've had to completely reset their ultimate economy with the comp swap that they've made, and that's going to come back to bite them if they don't start winning a fight.
Yeah, Captain Jack is still putting in a ton of work, but all of the work that he's doing is proving to be far too costly for MME because, you know, blue team, they're able to keep this momentum going. They're able to at least trade out in ways that will end up favoring them. They're able to get reses off and keep things going in their favor. They got the minefield completely covering the point. No one can get on here to touch until that's been dealt with, that the cart's been pushed past it. They have all the presence here, and MME is just corralled in this tiny little room, and blue team can just say, no, we're just gonna dono wall you. We don't want to deal with you, and if we do, you're gonna pay the price just like Harvey did there.
Yep, Harvey goes down, Ukyo to follow. Yeah, there you go. This is MME. They're back to their bread and butter, and Captain Jack is doing things only Captain Jack can pull off. Blue team, this third objective is going to be the hardest for them yet.
Yeah, and with the cart now past that like midway point of the horseshoe area, just getting to the cart for one thing is going to be difficult, much less putting it the rest of the way home. Leo's going to be able to set up here on the Sombra, get some of these defensive hacks onto Vinny if he's not pressured out here, but looks like he's going to be. And yeah, blue team, they might have a little bit of a way forward here, but only 60 seconds left to do it.
Not a lot of time to be able to work through, and they're going to have to do it without SJP for the time being. MME dive, look at all those check marks right now. They got 4 of them and are happy to let some of those go out. EMP, all that's necessary, collapsing on those supports. That backline has been the weakness of blue team the entire game. MME know it, and they have identified it and capitalized over and over again, putting this down to the final couple of seconds with a last-ditch effort to get a touch.
SJP swaps over to the Reaper, and where have we seen this particular hero swap before? When the Monkey and the Dive is proving to be too much to handle, you see blue team kind of crack under the pressure and go for that swap. If that's where they're gonna, put their whole lifeline on, they have to find some value out of it. But what a pulse bomb! Great immortality field though from Harvey to keep everybody alive.
Yeah, it's gonna keep them up, but not too long because top tier Kid and Ukyo cannot withstand that damage the sound barrier adds on. Blue team, we're so close to getting a good run through on Junkertown, but MME Dive, once they're back on their comfortable comp, this 5-man rush, this is their home. They do not let anybody in. Junkertown will end here with blue team unable to get this full capture out. MME Dive, they have set the bar pretty high for themselves to be able to come back into this one. Blue team, they're finding some of the eliminations to get this one back into their favor with top tier Kid getting that resurrection off. Ukyo could have just saved this one for the attackers here, but they still have a decent amount of territory to go through and an EMP to greet them.
Yeah, they got the EMP, and Bonnie's going to get out alive, get healed all the way back up. That's going to be some ult charge donated back over to Evergreen and Mighty that they, they're still very far away from their ults, but here comes that EMP, and here comes the follow-up, the 1-2 punch. That should be enough for MME to close this one out.
Yep, there you go. MME Dive, they simply just had the ultimates here in the end. A little bit of a last hurrah for blue team here, but yeah, inevitably, they'll not be gaining that full completion and will be forced to defend pretty close towards their own spawns. But overall, CB, this is a significant improvement after the full hold we witnessed on Hollywood.
Yeah, absolutely. A much, much better win condition. And, you don't get the full cap, but you get really close to it. That's still defensible. That's still holdable. That is still doable. You can absolutely full hold there, but that's also a win condition for MME. And again, we've seen them be very coordinated, and we've seen them be very proactive with a lot of these plays. They have the EMP, they strike with it, and then the dive comes in immediately to follow it. That's a proactive play. We're not seeing the same thing out of blue team. They're being a lot more reactive, and when they are being proactive, it's, it's not really working out in their favor. They're trying to swap more to like heroes like the Reaper to again counter the dive. They reactively subbed in Yukio to try and play this Mercy Echo comp, and you're getting a little bit of value out of it, but not always enough value in the neutral. Just a couple opening pickoffs here and there, but not enough to seal it all the way, and not enough to stay consistent through that third point there. So MME, if they keep this momentum up and their dives are as clean as they have been, the coordination stays as clean as it has been, that's a doable win condition for them.
MME, they're driving the bus right now. Blue team, they're just trying to get out of the way to not get run over. And the hard part with that is blue team, there's a lot of miscommunications that we can see happening. They split themselves up so much that the dive from MME, it works out every time because of that split approach. Yes, they've looked significantly better on Junkertown here, but with what MME dive are starting on right now, be a little afraid of how long they're actually going to be able to maintain themselves on the first point. They're giving up a lot of space and no SJP available to counteract Captain Jack. This is going to be some dangerous territory they're playing in.
Yeah, losing SJP, they're going to go ahead and get the res off there, but top tier Kid has to kind of concede a little bit of ground there, and that's going to go ahead and give Leo an opportunity to make this little rotation here. And look at all the real estate that he has his eyes over right now. Everyone from blue team is going to have to play super, super scared and not give Leo the time of day. They do take out Evergreen though, so they might be able to stabilize and keep this going. And they've actually found Leo as well.
Yeah, that was a risky flank from Leo. I understand wanting to take that space, but nobody was going to be able to help them. And yeah, blue team, that's what they're doing. They're waiting for these large errors to come into play. When MME make them, they're immediately punished. But oftentimes, MME, they're not making these errors. And blue team are found with nothing to really work with themselves. And they're stuck in a poke battle that they've continuously lost. Now, playing back here, got a lot more space for Leo to work with, who's transitioned over to the Sojourn, which is arguably better than their Widowmaker. This Echo Mercy duo in the skies needs to be a little scared with what all is lurking. They have to back up just because of the payload pressure, and you have the Tracer poking at your backline. Top tier Kid doing their best to control the chaos, but they lose Ukyo on the path. A critical pickoff for MME to continue this progress forwards, forcing the fight to take place on the point. Nano boost out from Harvey. It's gonna give Vinny the power to just annihilate the Sojourn in the backside, but you left Captain Jack to do whatever they would like in the front. There, down goes to MME, looking to go ahead, continue the progress forward, and Junkertown looking like their map so far. There's been no way to force MME off of the composition they're the most comfortable with at all.
That's just an incredible assassin play there from Captain Jack, who identifies that Top Tier Kid and Yukio were hard focusing on Evergreen, who honestly was running a little bit of a soup kitchen in the back there, but they don't finish off that Lucio way deep in their back line. And because they're so out of position to try and chase that one down, Captain Jack, hello, what are you doing up there? Get down. You'll hurt yourself. Captain Jack is able to just pick off that Mercy, and a dead Mercy means a dead Echo, and a Pulse Bomb means a dead Harvey.
A dead Harvey, but now an alive Harvey because Ukio is still there. If the power of having a Mercy, you have a sixth man potential out here. But the thing is that if Ukio goes down, you're kind of screwed over. Nice sleep out of Captain Jack. Harvey wants to get the follow-up, but knows they don't have the resources to do so. It's nice time for SJP to peel. Captain Jack running for their life right now. 45 HP to spare is A-okay for now, but MME, while they've moved halfway through the point, they're losing those players left, right, and center. Blue team managed to stabilize here, kind of hunkered down in various corners of Junkertown. Sleep dart again onto Bonnie. These have actually been really good from Harvey and to keep pumping these out, but it doesn't matter. MME dive. They haven't actually been stopped on the payload, and that's arguably the most important part here, CB.
I don't want to dwell on this for too long, but these sleep darts that Harvey is hitting are absolutely insane. But again, we're looking at the lack of coordination from Blue Team because there's no one coming back to try and help clean up those kills. That's why Captain Jack is able to get out alive. And now that he's back in the fight, and they've got a sound barrier at their back door, and no one can stop Leo with this overclock. They're just chunking through all of the members of Blue Team left and right, port and starboard. They get the DMAC there onto Vinny, and it's just academic at this point. It's just SJP to try and keep this cart going, but this should be MME clocking into checkpoint B.
Did you see where that Kitsune rush is placed from IQ Mighty on the back high ground there, where Blue Team were bunkered up? They all just leaped up, ambushed them with that overclock and the power of the Fox to back them up. They sit here with nearly 4 minutes to not even complete Junkertown. That's utterly ridiculous.
We do see a lot of pushes stall out here on this kind of horseshoe area here, so it's not impossible, but it's definitely difficult, especially if you let MME get too much space or if you let them build up too much momentum. And they do have a really big space building ultimate, and they do have a pulse bomb, and they've already decided to use that one.
Captain Jack has had Harvey's name this whole game, and Ukio is second on that list, not far behind. Triple kill for the
Captain Jack's got everybody's name.
Actually, there's like a grocery list going on, but instead of actual like normal items, we've just got a list of Blue Team players, and they've had no progress so far. This Tracer needs to be stopped if Blue Team want a chance to stabilize.
Yeah, it's not a grocery list, it's a hit list, and it starts with Harvey, it goes Yukio, and then Top Tier Kid, and then whoever else has the ability to fog a mirror in a 6-mile radius. Captain Jack will hunt you down and will one-clip you, and if he's got a pulse bomb, he doesn't even need the one clip. Don't even got to use the ammo here. Bonnie still has the Primal Rage, can use that to buy a ton of time. Evergreen has some high hopes, but that's not going to amount to a whole lot when a Mercy pocketed Echo is on the prowl.
Okay. They're getting a little confident, just a little bit there. I mean, Evergreen first, Captain Jack after. Do not underestimate the damage that a pocketed Echo will do to you. That will explode in your face, quite literally. Blue Team, they found their rhythm once again. Vinny had to go back over to the Wrecking Ball just to be able to do this, and now here comes the tricky part, actually keeping the support line, aka Harvey, alive.
They can do that, though, by being proactive. If they try and use some of these ultimates proactively, you know, they're coming up on the duplicate, they try and go for an early pulse bomb. If they're able to find value out of these ultimates, snuff out a member of MME too quickly so that it becomes far too costly for them to try and go for an engagement onto Harvey or Yukio, then they can just continue to shut these fights down before they begin, and that's what they have to do. But IQ Mighty is going to be the one to strike first with that Kitsune Rush. This is already, again, MME being proactive. Where's the reaction from Blue Team?
They don't have it. I mean, Top Tier Kid's already down. SJP waited a little too long in that pulse bomb. The resurrection, yeah, it's gonna be there. And there's finally that follow-up. Blue Team, while it took a while to actually get to that point, it was still a reactive play, but this one will end up working out for them. But they are playing with such dangerous territory to keep up with this play style.
Yeah, and look at all the space that they've given up. That cart is already halfway through that horseshoe. You still have about 1.5 minutes to hold everything here, but if you lose one quick and clean fight, you're up against the wall, like literally gritting your teeth trying to stop that cart from touching that golden box. So they have to be nearly perfect from here on out. It's going to be about 1 minute left in the time bank before MME gets the big touch here. Pulse bomb goes out, and Yukio's already down.
It's Ukio going down. That's one elimination that will not be resurrected. MME, they still have the Sound Mirror and the EMB to go out here, CB. This is a fight they can go ahead and win. It's all top tier kid with the duplicate to turn this one around, but all hacked up, no abilities to be able to turn it into their favor. MME dive, they have the numbers, they have the space, and of course they have Captain Jack ripping through ripping through the blue team to halt them in their path and take a shot at the grand finals once again. They'll be heading there to face off against red team for a chance at the $1,500 prize.
Oh, by the way, that's gonna be a best of a best of 7, first of 4 series, MME versus red team. I cannot wait. When it was just a best of 5, we went to 6. I can't wait to see how far this grand finals matchup goes. Blue team, again, they looked lost. They looked like they were trying to be reactive, and they did kind of find their rhythm a little bit on Junkertown, but they didn't find Captain Jack. Captain Jack found them first, found their backline time and time again, found all the pickoffs that he needed to find, found all the big pulse bombs he needed to find. He came to play, which isn't to take anything away from the rest of MME because they were all playing phenomenally. But when you have that level of coordination, you're setting your Tracer player up for success. Zero or SJP, they might even be mechanically better Tracer players, but we'll never know because the coordination for blue team was just not there to set them up for success. So again, we highlight Captain Jack all the time. We say that, Captain Jack carries, but he can't do that if it's not MME putting him in a position to do so. So yeah, we're going to get to see the banger matchup again. We're going to get to see another classic between MME and red team in the grand finals, and I can't wait. And for blue team, this is kind of a somber way for them to go out, a bit of a whimper rather than the bang that we're used to seeing from this squad. So for the next tournament cycle, I do want to see them kind of reassess things, maybe, start scrimming the meta a little bit more, find something that works for them and stick with it, and not just try and rely on overpowering everybody else, because Captain Jack is not someone that you can so easily overpower.
Absolutely not. And blue team, they'll be back. They're always coming back from things like these, and they've been one of the main teams in CGL, arguably one that they're known for. And they still do get to go home with about $250 in prize money for a 3rd place finish, which isn't bad by any means. That they'll have to settle for 3rd this time around, prepare for those upcoming events, whether they're off season or the future actual regular seasons of CGL. But at this time, we are going to get the rematch of a lifetime. Red team versus MME, CB. Last time we saw this, it went 6 maps, and it almost went further, if it probably could have. Seriously, that was one crazy matchup. And now we're on a first to 4 and a best of 7. We have the opportunity to go even further distance into that series, and that is one that neither of us want to miss.
100%. It looks like we are actually going to have an interview from MME, so we can kind of get a couple get some of their thoughts on things. Looks like we're going to be trying to grab Leo from MME and see how they're feeling. See if they're feeling pretty good about going up against red team. See what their strategies are going to be. I cannot wait. Again, we're going to 7 maps. If that 6 map series, by the way, if it hadn't been for that rule that it's like, okay, everything after map 5 is control, 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 control. I firmly believe we would have gone even further, because it would have been hybrid, and then we could have gotten another draw because those teams are so evenly matched.
Yeah.
It's anyone's game. Who is going to be better on the day? It doesn't get much better than that for a grand finals. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it here.
Yeah, this is gonna be one great one to go through. We're still trying to get that player set up, so it looks like that we're gonna go ahead and throw to a quick break here to get Leo all prepared for this interview. Oh wait, never mind. We do have a Leo in the chat. Oh, we're getting him there. Oh, hang on. We're just getting some things, make sure that Leo can hear us and we're able to actually talk to them. Because where's the fun in an interview if you can't actually hear somebody in the end? Leo, oh, and they're gone again. Leo's here, and then they're gone.
If you're wondering why I was like tripping over my words here trying to talk about that, is because I'm trying to assess the situation
what's going on
like you are. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, are we breaking? I see the chat going back and forth. Yeah, no, we're trying to get Leo in here. I think let's go ahead and throw it to a quick break real quick, and then we'll get all these issues sorted out, and we'll come back when we do have Leo for you.
we are back once more on the CGL broadcast, and we have a special guest here with us. It is going to be Leo, the stellar hit scan player out here for MME. You guys just managed to 3-0 blue team, one of the best, arguably, in the console scene for quite some time. How are you feeling after such a great win?
Feels very good, to be honest. Feels very good, yeah.
Yeah, all right, man, a few words. I gotcha. No, I mean, it's got to feel good, having that guaranteed grand final spot, and we'll get to that later. But let's talk a little bit about how you got there. The last time we saw you guys going off against Red Team, you were playing kind of a rush composition, but today we saw you come out with something a little bit more dive heavy. Was that kind of something that you reassessed after that match? Is that something you've been scrimming a little bit more?
No, we actually haven't scrimmed since the Red Team game, but I think it was more just about the team we're playing. Red Team tried to mirror us, and we usually just play rush. So we played rush against them, and then this team doesn't play rush, so we played the dive thing because it works better against what they play.
Very methodical. Very methodical. I love to see it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, well, I was just say, it's you guys. You won this match, right? You're moving on to the grand finals, and you get to rematch against the team that put you down to this losers finals right now, going up against Red Team. Is there anything that you think that you're going to change or you needed to prepare yourselves for as you're getting ready for a grand finals match with a lot of money on the line?
Yeah, we're gonna scrim a bit before it, and hopefully we'll play better than the last time we versed them. It was our best map ever against them, our best game ever against them, but I think we can do better because we did do some mistakes and stuff.
Ironing out some of those mistakes is massive, and I mean, it was still a phenomenal game, one of the closest games of Overwatch that I've ever seen. It literally could have gone either way. Again, I think it just came back to them having like one absolutely insane sound barrier out of nowhere that shouldn't have happened, but just did for whatever reason. Yeah, it was kind of...
and the Bastion pick was just fear of us guard.
Yeah, Bastion is just the bane of all tank players, so whatever comp you're running up against, especially a Reinhardt, like your shield just evaporates. I know that's really frustrating to play against. So,
yeah.
Do you have a plan to deal with that Bastion comp again if it comes out? And that's what they play?
We might mirror it with the Bastion. I have been playing a lot of Bastion recently. Or we'll play something else. We'll see.
We'll see. We'll love to see it. You guys have been an incredible team to watch throughout this tournament cycle, and I'm looking forward to seeing the rematch. You versus Red Team, where, again, last time it was only a best of 5 and we went to 6. This time it's a best of 7. I can't wait to see what you guys do.
Yeah, it will be a really good game. Really fun.
I know CB, myself, as well as the entirety of CGL are looking forward to seeing this match to see who will be that best console team in the Overwatch community. So, we're going to go ahead, let you go celebrate with your teammates, as you've got a lot to prepare for coming up. But before you head out, do you have any shoutouts or final comments that you'd like to make?
I would like to shout out Julian.
Alrighty, then. Well, shout out to Julian, a great one to have here today. Thank you so much for joining us here on the desk, Leo. It was nice to hear from you, and we wish you the best of luck moving forwards.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you. So, CB, we've just heard it all right here that this was a close match, and even MME themselves heading into the future, they're going to take what they did against Blue Team here and kind of apply that. They're very methodical in their approach of the various teams that they play and really prove themselves against Blue Team.
100% here, and again, like I said, this might be indicative of a changing landscape in console Overwatch. It might no longer be Blue Team on top of it. We might be experiencing a red wave of the Red Team coming through, taking it, or we might see MME reassessing, going back to the drawing board, and coming just that little bit stronger that they need to topple the Red Tyrants and put themselves firmly at the top of the console open tier. But that's gonna be that's gonna be one for next week. For now, we've got another game that we got going on the main channel that we're gonna want to throw it over to.
Yep, we have our EU Diamond Finals heading over to our main channel, CGL 1. It's been a pleasure to have you here on the Open Console stream. Tiny Shiny and CB here on the caster desk behind the scenes. We got Headrammer pushing the buttons and our lovely observer, MI Blizzard. Thank you to everybody who made this stream possible. We're going to go ahead, head you over to the main stream right here to catch some more Overwatch action, and we'll catch you next week.